everybody. I hope you're having a great summer. So when it came to thinking about what I wanted to do my personal narrative on for this class, there were a lot of things that came to mind, I guess you could say. A lot of different things that have happened to me, or some different ideas that I had thought, well, like maybe I could talk about that with everybody. Some aha moments I guess I had. But something that has hit home with me recent in the past 6 months is my grandmother passing away. So I figured that I would pick a moment that had to do with that because she was such a defining person in my life. So when I think of this aha moment that I had with her at a very young age, I definitely think it would describe being a personal narrative for me because it taught me a lot at a very young age, the ripe age of about 6, I guess you could say. Taught me a lot about servant leadership, and I think that applies perfectly to this class. So my Graham, that was what I called her, Graham, when I was about, I guess ever since I started school, Graham would pick me up every afternoon, and I would hang out with her and my grandfather at the house while my parents were, finishing up their afternoons at work. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents growing up. So my Graham was just about the nicest person you could ever meet. She had a servant heart. She loved everybody. I never heard her say a cross word to anyone. In her 93 years of living, I don't think she ever did say anything mean to anybody. She had a golden heart. But the lesson that I learned from her, one day in particular, when I was about 5 or 6, I guess I was in kindergarten or first grade, I guess, she sat me down in the living room one day and she said, "Haley, I am going to start taking you on adventures every Wednesday afternoon." And I said, "Graham, okay, sounds good, can't wait." So she said, "Well, the first adventure is going to require us to bake cookies." And I said, "Well, sounds like a fun adventure, Graham." So we went to the store and we bought 12 dozen cookies. It was a lot of cookies. And we spent the next couple days baking cookies and bagging them in these cute little bags and putting sweet little tags on them with Bible verses and things like that. So she never told me exactly what was going on, but a couple days later she loaded me up in the car after she had picked me up from school that afternoon, and she took me to a nursing home. And I said, "Graham, this is not the kind of adventure that I was looking forward to." And she said, "Well, you'll see, honey. You'll see when we get inside." And the adventure that she had planned for me to do not only that day, but every week for the next couple years was to go visit the elderly in the nursing home. And she would take me, and I would pass out these cookies that had Bible verses on them to the people in there who necessarily didn't have family or friends or someone to talk to, and to see it light up their faces, that was my total aha moment. And even at 6, I realized that being a leader is about more than what I guess comes to mind when you typically think of leaders and things like that. I guess to me, being a leader means being a servant first. And I learned that from my grandmother. And every afternoon when we would leave the nursing home, or we would, drop off cans at the soup kitchen or something like that, she would always, change it up, and we would, donate to a different charity in town. She would say, "Haley, why are we doing this?" And we would go through the thought process of why we help other people, and the fact that, you should always be putting other people first before you. And that's what love is all about. And so I would say that was a very defining moment in my life, even though it happened when I was younger, because from that moment on, I started to think that way in every situation of my life. I started to think about how I could put other people first before me in situations. And when I think about my leadership theory and my own personal thoughts on what leadership means to me, I definitely think of the word servant first. servant leadership is such a big thing to me. And the next, the thing that always is connected to that with me is my grandmother. So I would say that my big aha moment, I guess you could say, would be that time in my life when she started doing that with me. And it continued on through the ending of elementary school and middle school and high school. And I guess it helped to shape the person I am today. I know it did, in fact. And I'm so grateful for that and so thankful that she instilled those lessons in me at such a young age. And I hope that I can continue to make her proud and be a servant leader and help others like she wanted me to be. So, thank you. Hope you'll have a great rest of your summer. Bye.